Yeah, how's it going everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use PBR textures to like pretty much take your Roblox GFX to like a whole new level. PBR textures are absolutely amazing. They're essentially like really realistic, like 3D textures. So the first thing we're going to need to do is actually get some textures. So as usual, I'm going to be using Polyhaven. Polyhaven's just a great website for its public 3D assets and stuff. You can see they're 100% free. You can get HDRIs, models, but we're here for the textures today. Seamless PBR materials at least 8K resolution. Absolutely amazing. You can see there's a whole library of a bunch of different textures with a lot more to come. So just go ahead and go through this big library of them and just choose one that you like. I'm going to be using this one right here. It is called Aerial Rocks 02. It is just quite a bumpy, rocky sort of texture. You can choose any one you'd like, but you want to make sure you have the quality set to whatever you want. I suggest just sticking with 4K. If you're trying to make it like super realistic, you can go up to 8K, even above that. Some have way above that, up to like 20K I've seen, I think. But yeah, just go ahead and choose a quality, make sure it is in a blend file, and then you can just go ahead and click download right here. So this is my new folder here that has the Rhino rig that I'm using right here in the background, as you can see, as well as all my character textures and my character accessories and all of that. I like to put them all in one file just to keep it all organized. And here is my texture right here. I've just downloaded it to here. So this is the Aerial Rocks file. You're going to go ahead and right click on it and click extract all, then just extract it to your folder just like that. And then you can go inside of it, and there should be two little files right here. One's just the blend file of it, and the other are the actual textures you'll need. So this is all we're going to need. You can delete this if you would like. Now we need to go ahead and apply the textures, but first we need something to apply the textures to. So we're going to go ahead and click add up here and click mesh and then plane. Then you can click S on your keyboard to scale it up to whatever size, but please do note that the bigger it is, the more processing power you're going to need to actually, process the more texture, I guess, that's going to be on there. You can also go into your object properties here and set the Z level to 0, so it's on the actual ground. Now we need to apply the texture, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my shader editor. So to do that, you can just come up to this little box in the corner and change it to shader editor, but what I like to do is go up to where you resize it right here, right click, horizontal split it just like that, and then you can go ahead and open up your shader editor up there. Then with your plane selected, you want to go ahead and click new to add a texture onto it. So you should now have a principled BSDF right here and a material output. So now we need to actually apply the textures, but before we do that, there are two little things we need to do. The first one is with our plane selected, we want to click tab on our keyboard, or go up to this little tab right here and change it to edit mode. Then we're going to right click, making sure that it's all selected by clicking A on our keyboard to select it all. Right click, subdivide, and then you want to go into this little tab that pops up and then change this to like 100 or whatever you want. The more subdivided it is, once again, the more processing power you're going to need, because the more you subdivide it, the more sort of realistic it is, because if you see here, this is what's going to be shaped to revolve around the texture. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to subdivide it once or twice more, maybe twice more. No, actually, I don't want it to be too laggy for the video, so I'm just going to subdivide it that many times. So now to actually apply the texture, we need to go up into edit, preferences, add-ons, and then search up Node Wrangler, and then make sure this is enabled just like that. The Node Wrangler will let us do this right here, which is select your principled BSDF and click Control-Shift-T on your keyboard. This will open up your file explorer, where you can then navigate to your textures folder that I mentioned just before, this textures folder right here, with all the textures inside. You need to go to that and then just go ahead and select all your textures and click principled texture setup just like that, and you'll see it sets it up for you just perfectly just like that. But if we actually look at it from an angle down like this, you can see it's not actually 3D yet. So there is actually one more thing we need to do, and that is to go into our material properties right here, scroll down until we go under our settings just like that, and then there'll be this little displacement thing with bump only. You want to change that to displacement only. Now you will see that it is 3D, but it's definitely a lot more 3D than we'll actually want. So up in your shader editor, again, you want to come down to this little displacement node down in the bottom right corner. Hopefully it isn't too laggy. And under scale is where you can then decrease this to make it less bumpy. I suggest setting it to something like 0.001 or even 0.01, just very small, depending on how bumpy you want your texture. So if I go back into rendered mode now, you will see that it is not too bumpy because it is very low. Maybe if I set it to 0.1, you can see there's a bit more bump there now, but not too crazy as it was before. Maybe I'll stick with 0.2 just so it's a little bit more bumpy. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe if I go 0.15, just like that, I think that looks pretty good. And yeah, so you're pretty much done already. Another thing that you definitely will probably want to do is to change the scale of it up here under your mapping right here. You can see you can change the scale. If I set this to 5 by 5, you can see there's a lot more of the texture there, and it's actually a lot more bumpy. So the bigger the scale is, the less you're going to want your displacement scale down here to be. So maybe if I set it to 0.08, you can see it decreases it a little bit. Maybe if we go 0.02, no, that's too little. Maybe 0.04, yeah, that's all right. So yeah, you kind of get the point. Now, if you change the scale and it looks a bit weird, for example, I can't really put an example up on screen or anything, but if it just looks a bit weird, that's because you haven't subdivided enough, and you just want to go ahead and go back into your your edit mode, and then right click and then subdivide it once again. You can see if I subdivide it again, you can't really notice too much of a difference, but if you look really up close to it, it will be a lot more realistic. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Those are PBR textures. Super realistic way, super easy way to make realistic textures inside of Blender to really just take your Roblox GFX to a whole new level. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description below, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.